Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is August 19th, 2020, and these are the top stories of the day that I would like to share with you. So let's get rolling, shall we? First up, Nintendo Switch is coming soon to Brazil. As you can see in this image right here, Nintendo of America tweeted this morning, "Greetings to all the Brazilian Nintendo fans out there. We're excited to announce that Nintendo Switch will be coming soon to Brazil. Stay tuned to these channels for more info." And they list their Facebook and Instagram pages as sources. That's really cool news for the Brazilian audience because it's a difficult market to get into with tariffs and whatnot. And that's the reason why Nintendo backed out of Brazil in 2015, 5 years ago, midway through the Wii U era. It just became too difficult and too much money to invest in and not enough profit to come out of on Nintendo's side. Too much money for Brazilians to be paying for hardware and software, and it just was a little bit of a mess. And that's kind of unfortunate because, we want video games to be played by everyone everywhere, right? Well, now Nintendo is officially coming back into Brazil with the Nintendo Switch, hopefully with physical hardware as well as the opportunity to freely go on the eShop and whatnot. And we'll see what the prices are and the exact release date, but hopefully it's not too expensive. If you're living in United States of America, one of the primary markets for video game consoles, handhelds, etc., you get probably the most fair price opportunities. The most amount of deals. Things like Best Buy Gamers Club are easy for us. You spend $30, you get 2 years of paying 20% less per item. Like it's ridiculous how good we've got it. And for some countries, a lot of them in fact, they either don't have an official way to get it. Like, yes, you could be in Brazil now for the last 3 years and buy a Nintendo Switch, having one delivered to you from out of country, having a relative bring one over, stuff like that. It's all possible, but it's expensive. There are hurdles, things to go through. And even when it does become available in your country, legally, straight up, go to a store, go to your local mall, whatever, the prices aren't as easygoing as they are in the United States. The foreign exchange rate makes it higher. Other reasons, tariffs make it higher. So I hope for the Brazilian community the best, but awesome job, Nintendo, for getting this to finally happen, because that just means more sales. That just means, more potential fans. And I think it's just all around great news. So that's it for Nintendo in Brazil, but there's a lot more to talk about today. So moving on, we're actually going to go over to Xbox territory. This right here is what the home screen looks like on the Xbox Series X. This is the first look. I think it looks pretty clear, pretty clean. This in particular is paused from the video that Microsoft released this morning, and you can look at the video on the Xbox YouTube page, but I'll play a little bit here. Before I do, I wrote that as a reminder to myself. John Hiddlebrandt looks like Elijah Wood. Now you're going to see what I mean. It's one of the people from Team Xbox that's talking throughout this video, and looking at it, I'm like, dude, that looks like Elijah Wood, totally. But before I play a little bit of the video, here's another look that Microsoft has. They don't stay on any one particular section for too long of a time during this video, like showing really in-depth the user interface and what the home screen looks like. So that's why I have a couple of things paused, but that's what it looks like on your Xbox Series X, on the TV or on the computer, the app on your phone. Here's a little bit of the video.
Architecture. We've streamlined every aspect of
it goes by
getting
kind of quickly, right?
From discovering your next favorite game to getting together with friends to play. We've taken the destinations that everyone visits.
So that's
most often
not
on the
John
console,
Hiddlebrandt.
home,
I'll get to
guide,
John in a moment.
store, and focus not only on the craftsmanship, but also in reducing their footprint to maximize the cost memory.
There we go. All right.
Less.
Is that John Hiddlebrandt from Xbox, or is that Elijah Wood? I think it's Elijah Wood. Okay. That's John Hiddlebrandt, but it looks quite a bit like Elijah Wood. Not the most important part of today's story, but kind of funny nonetheless. As I was watching, I couldn't help but notice that. So Let's take a look one more time, right?
Is always the best way to play.
Not him,
These changes are...
but him. Right? But anyways, taking a look one more time. That's the user interface. Looks pretty cool. Looks like Pit Bear's got Ultimate Game Pass on there, so that's good. You know, like I said, I think it looks clean, looks clear, and hey, good job, Xbox. Now let's see when the console will come out, how much, and all that other good stuff. All right, next up, Prince of Persia. You know, lately we've been getting some different reports. First was on Zelda Skyward Sword, then it was on Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Reports from different retailers from other countries, and this is similar to that. Guatemalan internet sites that sell video games have a remake of Prince of Persia as a potential pre-order item. Now, what platforms exactly? When will it come out? What remake of what Prince of Persia game is it? We don't know. Could it be from the GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation 2 era of Prince of Persia games? Could it be of the Prince of Persia title that came out during the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era? Could it be old school Prince of Persia 2D platformer? What exactly? If I had to guess, I would guess it's from the Sands of Time era, but you don't really know. Then again, is it true? Is it not? That much remains to be seen, but sometimes retailers from other countries get it right. Sometimes they don't. Let's hope this happens, because it's been a while since we've had a new Prince of Persia game. And it's kind of coincidental because yesterday during the Nintendo Indie World Showcase, one of the games, Raji, I said, that looks like a Prince of Persia. And here we go, Prince of Persia right here. Also, a little bit of a note. In addition to being a big fan of the game, I was actually a big enough of a fan that it was for one of my Halloween pumpkins, because I do video game themed pumpkin carvings every year, that I made a Prince of Persia Sands of Time pumpkin carving back in like 2004. And that video is also on YouTube if you're interested in seeing what my pumpkin looked like. Next up, there's a reason why I'm wearing my Mega Man shirt today, and that's because we have a little bit of news from writer Mattson Tomlin. He did an interview with Polygon today, and you can read about it in its entirety on Polygon's website. But basically the gist of it is that Mega Man, the movie, as we know, has been announced from 2018. Yes, 2018 they announced that there's going to be a Mega Man movie coming out. It's been a couple of years. We found out today that it's still in development, still being written, planning behind the screens, I should say. And the information that we got that's new from Mattson is that it wants to be very character-driven, strong story, connect the viewer to Mega Man. It may not necessarily be a kid's movie, but they're not going to push it to be rated R either. The look of the Mega Man, of Mega Man himself, they're trying to make it visually satisfying to hardcore fans of the series. But you know, it'll be interesting to see where the movie falls. Like, will it be as successful and as visually appealing and appeal to as many different audiences as Pokemon Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, or will it really cater to one demographic more? Obviously, when you're making a film like this, you've got 30 years of Mega Man fans. You want to draw in as many as possible and draw in newcomers and potentially brand new people that are going to be completely new to the Mega Man IP. We'll see how it turns out, but I'm hopeful. I'm a big fan of the Blue Bomber, and it's good to hear that the movie's still in development, that things are going along well, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that's a good piece of news today. Next up, Ring Fit Adventure is going to have its own Nintendo Direct of sorts for this Chinese market specifically. This game came out in the United States last year. Nintendo definitely, I don't think, was prepared for how big the game was going to be. It's always sold out. No matter how much they restock it, it gets sold out yet again. It's charting whenever it is available in good, plentiful stock. It's always charting in the top 10, whether it's in the United States, in Europe, or in Japan. It's doing very well. The game has sold several million copies already, and that's with limited shortage of stock, because this isn't a game that you could just download. No, it's physical cartridge and the Ring-Con apparatus and the wrist strap for the other Joy-Con to go in on your leg. I did a series of videos of me performing Ring Fit Adventure, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I still have a good time with this game. Really good exercise tool. Just got free DLC a couple of months back, and that has different songs from different Nintendo games in it that you can work out to, and it's just a lot of fun. But anyways, kind of like how we started today's talk with different territories not having the easiest time necessarily getting video games. One of them is the Chinese market, and in fact, Nintendo Switch just went into China officially this year in 2020. So the fact that they're getting some more support from Nintendo, and specifically first-party titles like this, that's a really big plus, because the Chinese market is huge, potentially, right? Well over 1 billion people. If you could get good penetration there, you're just selling to so many people, and you could have numbers like never before in the video game console industry. Nintendo Switch is a success, but it could just get to a whole another level of success if it could do really well in China. So good for China today. They'll have a little direct on this game. Good for Brazil today in finally getting Nintendo Switch over there. And the last bit of game news is this. I've been looking forward to this for a while. It's Street Fighter number 100. Coming from Udon Entertainment, they say, good news. Our free comic book day issue, Street Fighter number 100, Ryu vs. Chun-Li, has a release date, August 19th, 2020. Check in with your local comic book shop to see how they are giving away their FCBD books. Street Fighter number 20, cover art by Panzer. Today's the day. It's August 20th. That's a cool looking cover, and I'm just stoked. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan, okay? This is one of my IPs. This is one of my babies. And I had a chance to meet Eric Koh. Actually, right here, I have that one ready to go. Eric Koh is the chief of operations for the comic book studio, Udon, which is ran in Canada. I'm reading some of my old article from January 3rd, 2011, quite a while ago. And here's Mr. Eric Koh, who's become a long-time friend, good friend of mine. Met at many E3s, talk over the years. I met him and Joe Vrines, an artist that was working on the Darkstalkers series, also by Udon Entertainment. Back in 2005 and whatnot. And one of the cool things is, to get back onto the comic book itself, is, as a lifetime Street Fighter fan, and also enjoying the comic book industry quite a bit, I always wanted the two to come together. And in the 90s, there were a couple different comic book series of Street Fighter, but they had kind of some short runs. 3 issues for one, 8 or so issues for another. A little bit of time passed before we got anything new. And then in 2003, bam, Udon Entertainment grabbed Street Fighter, and they just haven't stopped for 17 years. There's been breaks, but overall, 17 years worth of getting Street Fighter comics at some pace. The original run was fantastic from 03 into 2004, and then came issue 7, which had me, Paul Gale, in the back of Street Fighter issue number 7, and what a thrill that was. So for me personally, getting to meet Eric and getting to meet Taki Inamoto from Capcom, who works for licensing arrangements with their IP with all other companies and whatnot. Got to meet him at E3 2004 when I was looking for Eric Koh and company. Anyways, that's a long other story, but getting to meet these people, showing them my appreciation in person for putting me in the game, and just really seeing that the folks behind the games, behind the company that I love, behind the comics that I love reading, getting to meet them was just a thrill, and becoming friends with people that I admire and just respect their craftsmanship, and the amount of passion they put into their project equals my passion for how much I love the characters. And Udon has done a stellar job ever since. They get the look of the characters right. Street Fighter's got a good story, but it's just a game, right? It's a fighting game, but with a good backstory, and they flesh out all the story, and they do a really good job of intermingling characters and expanding on the mythos of Street Fighter. And they went into Street Fighter 2, 2 Turbo. They tackled 4 and 5. They have separate comics that are like Kami-driven story, Sakura-driven story. They went ahead and did Darkstalkers. They released art books. So Udon is fantastic. I'm definitely going to check this out. Ryu versus Chun-Li, dropping today. And with that, that's all the video game news for the day. It was really solid for this August 19th. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and as always, let me know in the comments any questions, tips, advice, whatever that you feel like talking about. All right, everybody. PGN signing out. Take care. Bye.